Nneka sat quietly in her car, staring at the big office building in front of her. It was the last day she would be coming here. She had worked at Diamond Horizons Bank for 7 years, growing from a small-time cashier to a respected branch manager. Her salary was one many people only dreamed of. Her future had been bright, until Nneka, her husband, dropped the bombshell. "I don't feel comfortable with you working anymore," he had said one evening, while they were eating dinner. "You need to resign and come home. Mama needs you. She's getting old, and she needs someone to take care of her." At first, Nneka thought it was a joke, but Emeka's face was serious, even hard. "But we can hire a caregiver," she suggested, trying to stay calm. Nneka slammed his hand on the table, making her jump. "I said what I said, Nneka. My mother took care of me. Now you will take care of her. That's what good wives do." Tears had filled her eyes that night, but Nneka didn't care. He refused to sleep in the same bed with her until she agreed. Every morning he left the house without talking to her. The silence was heavier than any fight they had ever had. Now here she was, parked outside her workplace, feeling like she was leaving behind a huge part of herself. As she stepped into the building, everyone greeted her warmly, unaware that it was her final day. She smiled through the pain. After handing in her resignation letter, she packed her few personal items into a small box. Her office had been her pride. It was her dream. Now it felt like a graveyard. As she exited the building for the last time, a cold breeze brushed her face. She hugged the box tighter to her chest, as if it could comfort her. "This is for the sake of peace," she whispered to herself. But deep inside, a voice was screaming. Mama sat on the veranda, her wrapper tied loosely around her waist. She was sipping palm wine from a small cup. Her eyes, sharp like a hawk's, followed Nneka's every move. "So you have finally come," Mama said, her voice thick with mockery. Good wives know their place. Nneka forced a small smile. "Good afternoon, Mama." "Who sent you afternoon? Go and drop your things inside. Then come back and wash the plates." Without waiting for a reply, Mama waved her hand like she was chasing away a fly. Nneka's chest tightened. She carried her suitcase inside. The house was dark, dusty, and filled with old photographs. She found the small guest room Mama had prepared for her, small bed, cracked mirror, and a wooden wardrobe that smelled of camphor. After dropping her things, she went straight to the kitchen. Dirty plates piled up in the sink. Pots, blackened from old fires, sat on the cooker. There was no gas. She would have to cook with firewood. As Nneka scrubbed the stubborn stains off the plates, her mind wandered. Is this what my life has become? From signing million-naira deals to scrubbing soot off pots? That night, when Nneka came to visit, Nneka rushed out to greet him, hoping for some comfort. But Nneka barely looked at her. "Is the food ready?" he asked coldly. "Yes, dear. I made oha soup, your favourite," she said, trying to lighten the mood. He nodded, took the food inside, and sat next to Mama. They laughed and talked, ignoring her completely. Nneka sat alone at the corner of the room, eating her food quietly. She fought the tears threatening to pour. Mama glanced at her with a wicked smile. "Better get used to it, Nneka. This is your real home now." Somewhere deep in her heart, a tiny seed of anger began to grow. Every morning before the first cock crowed, Mama would bang on her door. "Lazy girl, come out. You think this is your father's house?" Nneka would scrub floors, fetch water from the well, cook, clean, and even massage Mama's swollen legs. There was never a word of thanks, only insults. "You don't even know how to cook proper food," Mama would say, spitting on the ground in disgust. "And you call yourself a big woman? Nonsense!" Nneka barely visited, and when he did, he stayed only a few minutes, mostly to give Mama money and take advice from her in hushed tones. Nneka felt like an outsider in her own marriage. One afternoon, while Nneka was washing Mama's clothes at the back of the house, she overheard a conversation between Mama and her neighbour, Mama Chica. "So, when will Nneka marry the new girl you told me about?" Mama Chica asked in a low voice. Mama laughed loudly. "Very soon. This Nneka girl is too proud. She thinks because she had small money, she's better than us. I'll make sure she runs away herself. Then my son can marry a Daugo, the girl I chose for him." Nneka's heart stopped. A new wife? She sat there frozen, her hands dripping soap and water. The pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. Mama never wanted her here to help her. Mama wanted her broken, to make way for someone else. That night Nneka couldn't sleep. She stared at the cracked ceiling, her mind racing. Should I confront Nneka? Should I run away? But running away would mean defeat. Mama would win, and she couldn't allow that. A plan started forming in her mind, a plan she would never have imagined herself capable of. If Mama wanted a war, she would get one. As Mama banged on her door, she was already dressed and waiting. "Good morning, Mama," she said sweetly, bowing low. Mama looked suspicious, but said nothing. During the day, Nneka smiled through all the insults. When Mama asked her to sweep the whole compound twice, Nneka did it without a single frown. When she was sent to the market under the hot sun with 2 heavy baskets, she went without complaining. Mama watched her closely, expecting her to explode. But Nneka stayed calm. At night she even massaged Mama's feet longer than usual, humming a soft tune. "Maybe she's finally learning her place," Mama said proudly to a visitor one evening. But Nneka wasn't learning her place. She was learning Mama's weaknesses. She noticed Mama loved gossip more than anything else. She liked palm wine in the evening. She couldn't resist sweet words, and she loved being praised in front of others. Nneka began feeding Mama's ego. "Mama, you are so wise," she would say loudly when visitors came. "Mama, you have taught me so much." Mama would beam with pride, nodding like a lizard. Slowly, Nneka gained a little bit of freedom. Mama started sending her to run errands alone, giving her access to town, and more importantly, to people. People who still remembered her as the brilliant, smart Nneka. One of them was Mr. Eze, her former boss at the bank. He was shocked to see her carrying baskets at the market. "Nneka, what happened to you?" he asked, truly worried. She smiled weakly. "Long story, sir." Mr. Eze leaned closer and said quietly, "If you ever need help, just call me." He slipped his business card into her basket and walked away. That night, alone in her tiny room, Nneka stared at the card. Help was closer than she thought. She smiled for the first time in months. The days rolled by, but inside Nneka, a silent battle was raging. Every time she massaged Mama's swollen feet, she imagined herself walking away forever. Every time she cooked Mama's endless meals, she dreamed of sitting behind a big office desk again. But patience, she told herself. Patience. One evening, while Mama was snoring in her chair after drinking too much palm wine, Nneka walked in. He looked uncomfortable, like he didn't want to be there. Nneka brought him food and knelt beside him, serving it like a humble village girl. She could feel Mama's eyes flicker open to watch them. "My husband," Nneka said sweetly. "I heard you are planning something important with Mama. I'm so happy for both of you." Nneka stiffened. "What are you talking about?" Nneka smiled even wider. "Mama said she's looking for a second wife for you. I hope she finds a good girl who can also help me with house chores." Mama's mouth fell open. Nneka dropped his spoon. Both of them stared at Nneka like she had grown 2 heads. Without giving them a chance to talk, Nneka continued, "I will personally welcome her and teach her everything Mama has taught me." There was complete silence. Even the wall geckos seemed to stop moving. Mama cleared her throat. "And it's not like that. We were just talking." Nneka stood up suddenly, his face red with anger. "Mama, I told you I'm not marrying another wife," he shouted. Nneka bowed her head and pretended to be confused. But Mama said, "Keep quiet." Nneka barked. He stormed out of the house, leaving Mama glaring at Nneka with hatred burning in her eyes. That night, Nneka lay on her small bed, smiling in the darkness. She didn't need to fight like a mad woman. She just needed to be smarter. After that night, things changed. Not immediately, but slowly, like a leaking bucket. Mama's insults became sharper. Her punishments became crueler. One morning, she accused Nneka of stealing her gold earrings. "You this witch, after eating my food, now you want to steal my property." Mama screamed, gathering neighbors to watch. Nneka knelt quietly on the dusty ground, letting the humiliation wash over her. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. Inside her heart, though, she was boiling. She knew Mama had hidden those earrings herself to set her up. Later that evening, when the crowd had gone and Mama was busy chatting on the phone, Nneka took out her own small phone. She dialed Mr. Eze. "Sir, I think I need your help now," she said, her voice low but steady. Mr. Eze didn't ask questions. "Come to my office tomorrow morning. I have a plan for you," he said. Nneka's heart raced with hope. For the first time in months, she felt like she had a way out. That night, she packed her small things secretly, Just a few clothes, a framed picture of her late father, and the business card Mr. Eze had given her. She hid the bag under her bed and waited. But fate was not sleeping. At midnight, as she was about to sleep, Nneka burst into the room. His eyes were red. His breath smelled of beer. He grabbed her by the arm roughly. "You think you are smart, Abe?" he hissed. "You want to disgrace me? You want to run away?" Nneka's blood froze. Had someone told him about her call? Had Mama overheard? "You are not going anywhere," Nneka shouted, pushing her hard against the wall. Tears filled her eyes, not from pain, but from heartbreak. This was the man she had once loved, who now treated her worse than a housemaid. As he left, slamming the door behind him, Nneka sank to the floor. She hugged her knees tightly, rocking herself back and forth. But as the night grew darker, her resolve grew stronger. She wiped her tears and whispered into the empty room, "I will not die." Nneka was already dressed in a simple gown and slippers. She tucked her packed bag under her shawl, making it look like she was just going out to fetch water. The compound was quiet. Only the soft hoot of an owl echoed in the distance. Mama's window was dark. Emeka's car was parked outside. He was probably still snoring away from all the beer. Nneka tiptoed past the living room, her heart pounding so loudly she thought the whole world could hear it. At the gate she paused and whispered a prayer. "God, if you still see me, please open this gate for me." She pushed gently, and to her shock, the rusty gate creaked open. Freedom was just a few steps away. She hurried to the roadside and waved down an early morning keki napep. "Park Lane," she said, jumping inside. At Park Lane, Mr. Eze was already waiting in his SUV. He opened the car door himself, looking worried but relieved. "You did well," he said as she got in. "Come, let's get you somewhere safe first." They drove through sleepy streets until they reached a quiet guest house outside town. There, Mr. Eze gave her an envelope. "Inside this envelope is some money," he said. "Enough for you to rent a place and start small. I've also spoken to a friend in a microfinance bank. You can work there if you want." Nneka's hands trembled as she collected it. Tears filled her eyes, but this time they were tears of gratitude. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. "You've saved my life." Mr. Eze smiled warmly. "No, Nneka, you saved yourself. You refused to let them destroy you." That night, alone in her small but clean guest house room, Nneka sat on the bed and stared at the new phone Mr. Eze had also given her. She thought about Nneka, about Mama, about the life she had left behind, and then she switched off the old number they knew and turned on the new one. "From now on, I belong to nobody but myself," she thought. But unknown to Nneka, her escape had already triggered something much bigger than she ever imagined. Nneka settled into a small one-room apartment on the outskirts of town. It wasn't fancy, but it was hers. She started working at the microfinance bank Mr. Eze had connected her to. It felt strange at first, waking up early, dressing in neat office clothes, seeing respect in people's eyes again. But every day, her strength returned little by little. One sunny afternoon, as she sat at her desk attending to customers, her phone buzzed. A strange number. Curious, she picked it up. "Nneka, it's me, Mama." Nneka's heart nearly stopped. She almost dropped the phone. Mama's voice was not loud or proud anymore. It was weak, full of panic. "Please, my daughter, you have to come home. Please, Nneka has been arrested." Nneka sat up straight. "Arrested? What happened?" Mama started crying loudly on the phone. "After you left, everything scattered. Nneka borrowed money to marry that useless Adogo girl, but she ran away with all his money. He tried to fight her family, and now they have locked him up. I am sick. I have nobody. Please, come back and help us." Nneka felt a sharp stab of shock and a strange, bitter satisfaction. The same Mama who once treated her like dirt was now begging her for help. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She remembered the nights she cried herself to sleep. The insults, the beatings, the betrayal. When she opened her eyes, her face was calm. "I'm sorry, Mama," she said gently, "but I have a new life now. I can't help you." Before Mama could speak again, Nneka ended the call and blocked the number. She stood up from her desk and walked to the window. The sun was shining bright outside, birds chirped in the mango trees. Life was calling her forward, not backward. For the first time in a long time, Nneka smiled fully, from her heart. She had survived. She had won. And this was just the beginning of her true story. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Thanks, and stay blessed.